Welcome to our bilingual education workshop, where we will be discussing how to teach abstract concepts in bilingual content areas using a cross-curricular approach. Today you'll be learning about various instructional strategies to be used when working with bilingual students throughout content that goes beyond factual information. This is our agenda for the day. We will be describing what the issue in regards to teaching content area is and how we are addressing that issue. Then showing you the instructional strategies that are applicable to resolving the issue with a short half-an-hour lunch break. And when we return, you'll be putting the information that we've given you to practice. We'll finish up with some last comments and reflections. Teaching content to emerging bilingual students, especially those in the lower proficiency levels, is a challenge. Many emerging bilingual students face the challenge of learning new content in a completely new language. Unfortunately, language deficiencies keep teachers from immersing their students in lessons that foster higher order thinking. This puts them at a disadvantage compared to the mainstream peers, whose teachers are mandated by the state standards to introduce them to abstract materials throughout the different content areas. This also broadens the achievement gap between the two groups. As teachers, researchers, and educators, we need to give access to the emerging bilingual students to a challenging and rich curriculum that engages them in higher order thinking despite language deficiencies. Content should not be hindered by language, and language should not be hindered by content. Both should be used to develop one another. This challenge could only be faced with the collaboration of teachers and the collaboration of bilingual programs administrators. Reading needs to be integrated into all content areas, making sure that the students' reading skills allows them to understand the content-specific texts. Reading skills need to be used to broaden knowledge of areas such as math, science, and social studies. If students can learn content in their native language, they can focus on learning English at a different time. This does not mean that the language instruction will not be part of the content instruction. Teachers include content-specific language instruction in their lessons with general language instruction at another time. Teaching in the native language also allows for parental engagement to be applied to the curriculum and facilitates the language transfer. WIDA standards address language proficiency in both social and academic language and in all four speaking, listening, writing, and reading skills. Teachers can use this as a guidance for implementing native language instruction into content instruction with the native language arts standards provided by WIDA, and for students who are transitioning from a bilingual classroom to a mainstream classroom when they no longer use their native language. The various social and linguistic practices and the historically accumulated bodies of knowledge that are essential to students' homes and communities must be implemented into the curriculum as well. Teachers must help students learn new concepts by building on what they know, emphasizing a positive effect on the students' self-image. A thematic approach to teaching content to emerging bilingual students provides teachers with an opportunity to integrate knowledge and skills from all content areas. Learning through a thematic approach not only facilitates vocabulary development, but also allows information to be repeated across subject areas with greater focus that is often avoided.
Sweeney and Velasco give clear reasons on how semantic maps play a role in the bilingual education classroom. It provides a great framework for brainstorming about an idea. Additionally, the authors also describe the application of a concept definition map when information on a particular topic is being categorized into important key points. Developing language is enforced through activating background knowledge and by vocabulary instruction. One of the ways that vocabulary can be developed is by connecting Tier 1 words to their respective Tier 2 words. Sweeney and Velasco also point out golden rules for teaching vocabulary as follows. Teaching in context. Think of related words that connect to the words being taught. Give the opposite of the word. And make a personal connection. Additionally, using KWL charts is a bridge to trigger background knowledge while simultaneously developing writing. Syntactic surgery is used for students to learn which pronouns are attached to which nouns. This is done because of the difference in syntax between the native language and the target language. Reyes and Klein describe that students need to know the terminology of a certain concept in all contexts in both languages and must understand that they are all referring to the same operation. When a student is able to actively justify their reasoning, the academic standards have been met. The use of manipulatives are meant to engage students through interactive activities. As previously mentioned, Reyes and Klein show how important instruction in the native language is for bilingual learners in order to develop academic language while acquiring English skills at a different time. Therefore, the lack of English should not impede academic instruction.
We discussed the importance of cross-curricular planning as an aid to teaching bilingual students and exposing them to factual and abstract information throughout all different content areas. You will design a lesson plan with a specific theme while tackling an abstract idea of the content area. Just like students in the bilingual classroom need to get out of their comfort zone, so will the teachers here today. Teachers will plan a lesson plan for a different content area than what they teach. Math will plan for social studies will plan for science, and science will plan for math. The ELA teachers and the NLA teachers will spread across the other content areas to help the other teachers with the language piece of their lesson. The lesson will include strategies discussed as well as a technology component, emphasizing the importance of using technology when teaching English language learners. When everyone's done, the teachers who actually teach a specific content area will revise and add to their peers' work. Each content area will be given an objective, which are the following.
Students are working with a linear model to find the projected amounts of polluted water after specified amounts of time. This is aimed to integrate language and content. Academic language will be developed in this lesson. Rodriguez, Carrasquillo, and Lee state the rationale for teaching mathematics in bilingual students' native language is that mathematics content goes from simple conceptualizations and operations to higher contextualization greatly dependent on language. Rodriguez, Carrasquillo, and Lee describe that for bilingual students to advance in science, they need an abundant level of academic language in science. Rodriguez, Carrasquillo, and Lee describe cognitive skills necessary for teachers to be able to integrate social studies and native language instruction. These steps are 1. Understanding of cause and effect relationships, 2. Comparing and contrasting, 3. Collecting, analyzing, and interpreting data, and 4. Hypothesizing and making inferences. Since social studies is directly related to the language arts, we will ask students to start in the language of their choice, but the final drafts of their letters are being sent to the County of Flint in English. In their essays, they should include vocabulary words that they learned throughout the math and science lessons related to the water crisis. This way, their letters can be sent to the representatives of the city of Flint, and they can communicate how the crisis affects people through an academic standpoint. This activity gives the unit a purpose. Not only are they enforcing language use, they are also using the science and math academic vocabulary to advocate for a city of underrepresented people. Please complete the following survey with the glows and grows of our presentation.